Does the stress makes you eat? Are you overeating because of the stress? Many people turn to food and eating when they're angry, stressed out, anxious, or frustrated. And in this video, we're gonna talk why. Hi, this is Elena, Energetic Mom. In the last video, we talked about acute stress and eating behavior when you are in acute stress situations. And what was happening is that our body would produce epinephrine, and that hormone, basically it's a stress hormone that shuts down the feelings of appetite because we get a signal of something dangerous happening in the outside world. So we better be prepared for either fight, flight, run away, or freeze. And you probably don't want to eat when you're trying to fight somebody, or when you're trying to run away, or when you're trying to freeze. So basically, it's not a good time for you to eat or even think about the food when you are in acute stress situations. And we talked about that in the last video. In today's video, we're going to talk about chronic stress, when, for example, that acute stress situation turns into chronic or constant stress. And here we are talking, for example, if you have a crazy boss that yells at you every single week and you just get this stressful situation over and over again, or for example your mom or dad is dying and you're trying to cope with that, or maybe you're watching news every day, and that definitely will keep you in a chronic stress situations. So in such cases, the body starts producing another hormone, and that hormone calls cortisol. And what cortisol does, tells our body to get prepared for something bad or expect that something unpredicted might happen. And it's better to be ready and prepare and probably eat up on your most favorite and comfortable foods, which through the process of evolution became to be something fatty, something sweet, or something salty. And talking about burgers and ice cream, right? And knowing a bit of biology behind this will help us understand our body's biological response to overeating when we are stressed but not really hungry. And now let's talk about psychology and realize that stress overeating is just one type of emotional eating. And by definition, emotional eating is a way for us to repress or tranquilize our strong emotions such as anger, anxiety, worry, boredom, fear, loneliness. Even happiness would go there too. Basically, we need to realize that when we are stress eating, what we are really doing is trying to calm ourselves down through the process of chewing and eating comfortable foods. And if we dive a little bit deeper in the psychology and think back to the time when you were a newborn baby, breastfeeding was giving you a comfort, safety, warmth, and love through the process of breastfeeding or bottle feeding in your mom's arms. And this process of feeding is the process when the baby can get the necessary care and warmth. After you being fed and after you feel full with the breast milk or bottle milk formula, the child would experience this like blissful state of peace and happiness, basically. And that was a connection, that was the link that was happening inside your baby's brain for the rest of your life. The feeling of feeding, eating is equal to I'm being loved and I'm happy. That would transfer from newborn to a toddler state to a child. And if you take another example, when you were a little girl and if you wanted your mom to buy you a new toy, right, in a toy store, but your mom did not think that was a good idea because the toy was expensive, but you kept just crying and getting more and more upset by the minute. And while your mom was getting more impatient and annoyed with your behavior, that you didn't want to let the toy go and just leave the store. So if your mother never really knew how to recognize in her own emotions, if she never really knew how to define and deal with those emotions, then most likely she would not recognize your emotions. She wouldn't know how to deal with your emotions when you were trying to express yourself, when you're trying to speak up for yourself, or when you try to voice out yourself in any way. And that would create tension, because on the one side, you would end up getting angry and upset, while on the other side, your mom would be getting annoyed and frustrated with your bad behavior, right? So your mom's goal is to calm you down as soon as possible, get you out of the toy store, and for you to forget about the toy. So that will create calm and peace for her own state of mind. And so the fastest and most reliable way in those situations would be probably to give you, a child, something sweet and tasty, or she could promise you to buy it as soon as possible. So you were growing up and eating sweets when feeling stressed, angry, upset, or uncomfortable. If that became your strategy, then most likely you are using that strategy to this day. And I can tell you that most people in our society use that strategy to calm themselves down, and they use it to kind of repress their feelings or make them feel more relaxed. And someone can use alcohol, somebody uses cigarettes or drugs. In a second, I will give you the great ideas how to work with this, but for now, I want you to remind you that if you want to get rid of your overeating, of your stress eating, of your emotional eating once and for all, you are welcome to sign up for my course. It's an 8-week course. You will find the link below this video, and the first call is free. So basically you have nothing to lose but try it out and see if you like it. Back to the video. So let's talk about some of the solutions for stress eating. And one of the first thing for us is to find the trigger that produce our stress or make us overeat. And this could be a stressful meeting at work, for example, that didn't go your way, or it could be because your mom has not been feeling well these days and that makes you worry, right? Or it might be because you are having a really hard time communicating with your toddler and he throws tantrums in public places every other day. Or maybe it's not the toddler, but on the other hand, it's your teenager girl that drives you crazy once in a while. And no matter what the stress trigger is, the first step is to recognize the situation, to find out what that trigger is that brings so much stress into your life. And another step would be right before you eat, right before you're going to eat something because you are stressed out, you want to ask yourself, right now, at this particular moment, am I truly really hungry, like physically hungry, or is it something that is really bothering me from inside and it's not related to my true hunger? So in my program, for example, I share one of the great tools that can really help you define this. Once you know that it's not your true appetite, but most likely it's a sign of appetite for something specific that was triggered by some emotional event or situation, then make a mental note of it. Recognize that this is what is happening in the situation, and that would be one of the first powerful steps in the right directions, because awareness is the key. And a next one would be to ask yourself another good question. It is, what should I do in a stressful state instead of eating? What should I do instead? Many of my clients and I together, we create a list, for example, of things that work personally for them, that really work wonders for their stress eating or emotional eating. I will give you one idea, and it's one of the best short-term solutions to reduce stress eating and feel more calm and relaxed, and that would be physical activity. So through physical activity, cortisol goes down and your hormones of happiness are being produced, so you kind of like equalize this, and it makes you feel much better. For the long-term solution, however, we need to really work on reducing specific stressful situations and events in our lives. So for example, if your mom would get better, right, that would solve the problem. If your boss would not scream and yell at you, but rather communicate with you in a better way, in a calm way, or if you get great communication with your toddler or teenage girl, that would definitely solve lots of stressful situations. It will eliminate many of the stressful events in your life. In my program, for example, I provide my clients with lots of great tools and solutions. And if you are interested in the course, you are welcome to have first consultation call for free. I really hope this video was helpful to you and you get some great ideas on why you might get stressful overeating, why does it happen in your life, or what you can do to help the situation. Please don't be shy and give me a thumbs up if you like this video and or if you think it was helpful. And in the next video, I want to talk to you about one of the most useful ways how to stop stress eating. You can subscribe to my channel and stay tuned and watch it the minute it goes on a public space. So I want to thank you very much for watching it, and I will see you in the next video. Lots of love, Elena.